Nitin, we are live. Nitin, you can start talking. We are live.
Hello, friends. Good evening and good morning to the CC world. I am Nitin Manot and Executive Director of Corporate Connection Mumbai, and it gives me a great pleasure to introduce my very dear friend and who is the President of CC1 Mumbai and who is the Chairman of St. Angelo's VNCT Venture, Mr. Agnelorajesh Athaide. सिर्फ नाम ही काफी है. A serial and a social first generation global entrepreneur. He is a global citizen, real estate developer, educationist, and angel investor, motivational speaker, game changer, and the one who sets a new trends. Amongst the many accolades, few things I would like to mention about him. The man started his career at the age of 13 and having merely earning less than 1 cent per week and now standing strong on a business empire spanning across the cities in India and multiple countries across the world. Whatever he missed in his childhood as the comforts of life has today become his core businesses. He is into education, real estate, hospitality, fashion, apparels, jewelry, e-commerce, and content creation. Either a situation controls you or you can control the situation is the life mantra which has inherited by him from his mother. So now from one life mantra to 50 new life mantras, the book he has authored based on the current scenarios and past experiences. I have had the privilege of living these 50 new life mantras on every live shows for the 25 days where he and his friends Nagu Chidambaram and Geeta Nagu discussed two mantras every day and motivated and ideated whole world. 50 New Life Mantras is a book written by Mr. Agnelorajesh Athaide in just 15 days flat. By the way, he has not only written the book in those days, but also kept doing all his business and regular normal activities that the day demands as per the various commitments. This shows the speed at which he works and utilizes every moment of his life which requires the constructive purposes. The gist of book completely resonates with the purpose of corporate connection, that is to connect leaders around the whole world and empower them to create opportunities and meaningful changes in the organizations, communities, and daily lives. So let me take this opportunity to introduce Robert Gervais, the president of Corporate Connection Global. He has a long-standing relationship with Corporate Connection that has spanned well over a decade. Robert taught business strategies, entrepreneurship at a leading Canadian universities. Few unknown facts about Robert. He has met a Priyanka Chopra and had a coffee with her. He danced and dined with none other than Sandra Bullock. He has participated in a game show in Los Angeles and won the trip to Hawaii. And today it's our pleasure that he is launching Agnolo Rajesh Athaide's book, 50 New Life Mantras. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcoming these two amazing personalities together live. I would like to request Mr. Robert Gervais to come on the screen, followed by Mr. Agnolo Rajesh Athaide, start the event which we all are anxiously waiting for. So
good morning and good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are in the world. It's a real pleasure. Thank you, Nitin, for the introduction. It's always fun to hear about your life from someone else. It always sounds much more interesting. So it's fun to think about some of those good memories, and thank you for the kind introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here today with Agnelorajesh. For those of you who know him, you already know the kind of entrepreneur and leader that he is. For those of us who are perhaps meeting him for the first time, I encourage you to reach out to him, and also to reach out, of course, to whichever place you like to buy your books, Amazon.com, wherever else it might be, to really read the 50 New Life Mantras, and the subtitle of it being, a business and personal guide amid COVID-19. Now, I found it really interesting. So Agnelorajesh and I know each other through CorporateConnections, of course. As the global president, I have the opportunity to, and certainly one of the highlights of what I do is to get to meet members across the globe. And I've had an opportunity to get to know him through his leadership as president of Mumbai CorporateConnections 1. And he's done an absolutely fantastic job there. And I'm really excited to introduce him today and introduce this book and discuss a little bit some of the values and really some of what you can take from this book. And again, you'll see it's a relatively easy read. It's succinct, it's precise. It really has these 50 new mantras, which, by the way, even though it was written amid COVID-19, it really applies, I think, to everyday life, everyday business. So these are obviously, although he may have written it in a brief period of time, obviously these are all things that he's been thinking about for some time and that have come together at this time. Now, what I found interesting about all this is whether it's about these personal anecdotes, philosophies, these really ways to approach life and think about life, it's really all about the opportunity. And that's part of what I loved about this book is despite this pandemic and this time in our world where many of us are facing something that we've never faced before and hopefully will never face again, he is finding opportunity and hope. And with that in mind, I'd like him to join in the conversation. Perhaps we could talk a little bit about the book. I know we only have about 15, 20 minutes to discuss this, Agnelorajesh, but I think it's kind of the perfect time to come out with this book. And before we even get started, maybe I can ask you a little bit about the motivation to write this now, given all your other responsibilities. And of course, you are a business person who's far from being retired. You're involved in many different businesses, many opportunities. And if you're like me, I'm actually working harder right now than I did before COVID-19. So how have you found the time and why now? What motivated you to actually write this and publish it at this time?
Robert, first and foremost, I'm grateful and thankful for the honor of you launching this book. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to know you, interact with you, and work with you. This book was an inspiration because in the beginning, when the surprise strike, when we were under a lockdown, we have never understood what is a lockdown from the time I was born. And when this lockdown happened, I suddenly thought that there is surplus time on hands. Let me start penning down my experiences. And when the lockdown went on getting extended, I realized that why not pen a book? I always love to write. I write it in short notes and keep posting it on my social media. But this time I thought, let me convert it into a book which can be helpful for people, something out of my experiences, my past experiences, and why not share it in the form of a book? And the lockdown kept on extending. So I started to write a blog, and then I wrote a few blogs. And then the lockdown kept extending. So I decided now, let me write up to 50 blogs and convert it into a book. So that's how this book has been emerged. And it was a pleasure penning it down because even today, when I read my own written notes, I realize that it has been a great learning for me as well. And every time that I read the same book, it gives me new realizations. So it's an accidental book, though. It was never planned. It was never penned as a book. It started as a write-up. It converted into a blog. It converted into a few videos, and then ultimately I translated it into a book, and I'm enjoying reading it every time I try to read something new.
Yeah, so maybe, and I know there are a lot of things we could talk about when we talk about the book, the importance of it today, and maybe we'll start there. And then I want to jump into a few of the topics you address in the book. And if you don't mind, I'm going to bring it right back to Corporate Connections at the end so we can discuss a little bit about our philosophies and why I think we're both really happy to do this, because I think there's some strong parallels in our values that come out in the book that maybe we can share a little bit with people, some of your values and how they apply at this time.
Sure. So some of the values that I have written in the book, if you want to point out the values.
Well, sure. Actually, sorry, Agnelorajesh, even before we get there, let's talk about maybe the importance of the purpose or of purpose simply in today's times, because I think a lot of people are a little bit rudderless. They're kind of like that ship without a rudder in rough seas, and they're not quite sure how to act. And one of the things I loved about this book is it gives you clarity as you read it. It makes you understand some of the opportunity, but more importantly, perhaps, that more than ever, we need to have a purpose. We need to be clear in where we're going. And maybe you could just delve into that a little bit more and how that comes out in the book.
Sure. So, Robert, I was always fascinated with the blue ocean strategies. The blue ocean economy is something where there is no competition. The competition zones are known as the red ocean economies. We were now used to the understanding the blue ocean economies, but suddenly I have realized that there is no blue ocean anymore. All the oceans, all the economies are red ocean economies. So now the new way forward is going to be deep ocean economies. What do you mean by deep ocean? You need to do whatever you do, you need to do it in a way that you're the best at it. And these are the times where you can do that with collaborations, with new technologies, with new ideas and new strategies. So that's what I've discussed in this book. And we need to get into the new economy model, which is the deep ocean economy. And that's what I have tried to identify through this book. As far as the leadership is concerned, the whole book travels towards converting the reader into a leader that the world needs today. Till yesterday, a leader was known as a visionary leader, a missionary leader, or a leader with passion, a passion pruner. But the world of today and the new world order that I keep talking about, which has already started, the new world order will need a purpose-driven leader. A leader who has a common purpose, where profitability is a byproduct, not the core focus zone, but the purpose that he is pursuing, where people make it their purpose because it is actually their purpose. And this particular leader drives it so deep that he creates a deep ocean economy for himself, where people support that entrepreneur to grow. No entrepreneur, however good, however smart, however intelligent, and whatever resources he has, no entrepreneur henceforth can be successful if he doesn't have the people along with him, if he doesn't have the economy backing him. And for that, we need to realize that we need to have a genuine purpose that we pursue. So it's going to be the pursuit of a purpose, and the purpose needs to be a problem that we are solving in the economy. And the bigger the problem, the bigger the purpose, the bigger the entity, the bigger the activity. So it is all related, correlated, and engaged with the people around us. It is an ecosystem that we need to build. It is a strategy that we need to have in place. There cannot be anybody who can act to be doing a purpose. The purpose has to be genuine, because people today are very, very smart. So there are too many problems that need to be solved. And now we need to really identify the main good problem, which becomes our purpose, and we solve it. And that becomes a business entity for you. But the method to move around and move ahead is, you will not have all the resources in the world that you control. So you will have to connect with people who have resources, and collectively you need to get connected and start using common resources for the common purpose and goal.
So it's an interesting thing, because you talked a lot about throughout the book, and you're kind of touching on this now, the idea of collaboration. Finding those entrepreneurs who are going to lead with purpose, but also you talk about how they need to come together. So those like-minded companies, those entrepreneurs, to lead to a faster recovery and growth of the economy. So maybe you can just touch on that theme of collaboration and how that works in today's world, because again, I think on the one hand, some people are looking for more collaboration, but also people are trying to protect what they have because of the pressure of COVID-19 and the uncertainty. So how do you overcome that and really focus on actually being outwardly open and seeking collaboration at a time when a lot of people are actually closing doors?
Frankly speaking, Ruber, I'm always a pro-collaborative person. People who know me, a lot of my friends are witnessing this show live. The people who know me, I've always been propagating collaboration all my life. But now it's not a choice anymore. Till yesterday, collaboration was a choice, that you might do collaboration, you might not do collaboration. But now onwards, for the rest of our lives, collaboration is the only way forward. Now, collaborating does not mean sharing your profits, but collaborating means sharing your opportunities. And today you need to look out at bigger and larger problems to solve, which becomes your purpose. And a larger problem will need larger amount of resources. The cake is going to be so big that the pie that you get will be multiple times the size that you were used to in the past. Collaboration gives you the power to move forward. Collaboration gives you the global reach. Collaboration gives you the knowledge. Collaboration gives you the strength. And collaboration gives you the additional resources to move forward. We should not believe in competition. We should believe in collaboration. We should not believe in competition. We should believe in cooperation. So the whole scenario and the whole mindset is needing to be changed. And also the next magic word in everybody's life, which we always spoke in the past, seldom implemented, but now what needs to be implemented is value innovation. Collaboration brings great opportunities of value innovation and value creation for the customer. So that also comes into play, where you get technology, where you get strategy, and where you get resources from your collaborating partner. The collaboration might be happening somewhere in your city. It might happen in the complex where you live. It might happen in any other part of the world, like Montreal in Canada. But collaboration is absolutely suitable. How do you identify the need of collaboration? You need to do backward integration. You need to do forward integration. You can collaborate with your vendors. You can collaborate with your customers. You can be your customer's customer. So there are methods of doing it. You need to start thinking, sitting and analyzing on how you can do. So I would like to pass one message through this book, Robert. The one message is you need to do an introspection of your resources, and you need to consolidate your thoughts together, refine, redefine, and propel your new strategy, and have collective of people with whom you can validate your thoughts. Like, for example, I validate my thoughts on the platform of CorporateConnections. Similarly, people are part of various business organizations where they can validate. Do not take any step without validating what you have decided. So validations with the people you admire, validation from the people you follow, validation from the aspiring entrepreneurs who are there around you. Every input might refine your strategy further, and it will help you to understand that the next step that you're taking, how it can be further improved before you go to the market. So I think collaboration is an eye-opener, and it gives you unlimited resources. And again, I would like to correct one thought. We do not have to calculate the level of our growth on the power of the resources that we own. We need to calculate our growth on the power of the resources that we can reach to and associate with. That's the message that I've tried to give, Robert.
And I think that's a fantastic message. And I think that's a universal message that was true before and now, and it will be after the pandemic. But obviously, probably more appropriate to discuss now and to focus on now than ever before. So you can all see that Agnelorajesh is obviously passionate and focused and has a clear message. And I want to encourage everyone again, just a reminder, you can get the book on Amazon, Kindle, anywhere you would get your books. So I encourage you guys to reach out and look for those opportunities right now and today and for the days to come. It's also a great gift, I think, for anyone, especially whether it's a young or seasoned business professional. And as we mentioned, there are a lot of personal elements of the book as well. So it's not just about the business. But maybe some of the elements, one of the things that I really enjoyed, one of the chapters that I liked, you talked a little bit about the customer opportunities. And I think, you spoke about reaching out to customers, seeing what's possible, really taking advantage of this as an opportunity to build more loyalty. And I know we don't have a lot of time, but I thought maybe you could just talk. It's such a different perspective, I think, as to what many people are thinking right now. And again, it kind of shows the whole theme of the book, which is what is the opportunity in front of us versus the limitation. So just for all of us who are challenged right now, keeping our customers and growing our customer base. And I know you have sales, market opportunities. There's a lot of different themes here, but maybe you could just touch on that briefly, and then we'll bring it back to a little bit about networking and how the collaboration works within that.
The customers is the soul of every business. You are there because the customer is there. As an entrepreneur, the only strongest resource who can make you big or make you disappear is the customer base. The more you have, the more stronger you get. Your loyalties to the customers go beyond the product and the transaction. Your loyalties to the customer go beyond value creation and value innovation. It's a lifetime relationship. There are three methods of how you can grow your business: adding new customers, adding more products to your existing customers, and doing both. I think the terminology number 3, adding new customers and adding more product and services to the customers, is the better one. We also need to realize that we need to become good customers. I am a customer to you, you are a customer to me, we are a customer to each other, we are a customer to the economy and the ecosystem. My message through this book is we really need to be good customers. We need to be disciplined customers. We need to be committed customers. And we need to understand the pain point of every vendor that we are dealing with. This kind of an attitude will bounce the economy back. My message to all of us is we are entrepreneurs, but we are also customers to many. We need to be absolutely prudent to the vendors with whom we are working. As customers, we are responsible for the making of the economy and growing the economy passionately and with speed. So my message to all is, let us try to be the best customers. If we are the best customers, we will also get the best customers in the world. So the prayer to God is only one thing. We need to have the set of the best people in our life. As entrepreneurs, who are the people who impact our life is our teams, our vendors, and our customers. We need to be best with all of them, and they in turn need to be as best customers in the ecosystem for the ecosystem to come back. Any country which wants to flourish and grow needs to have great quality customers, and a recessionary mode is always changed by the spend economy, where everybody starts spending. If you save, if I save, if none spends, then the economy will get a stand block. It will be blocked and nobody will grow. So it is very important that we all spend. We need to become responsible spenders. At the same time, we need to be very disciplined customers, not taking advantage of any vendor ever. If he's a good vendor, satisfying your needs to the T, you need to cooperate and support him. That is a strong message that I've tried to give through the book. So rather than messaging only through the side of the vendor, I've also tried to message from the side of the customer as well.
So it's an interesting thing because, of course, the idea of building and looking at opportunities and the opportunity of customers, the opportunity of collaboration, and you also talk about the opportunities that are outside of your current sphere. That right now there is, again, to overuse the word, there is that opportunity to go beyond your borders. And I'm wondering, and this kind of ties back to how you and I know each other, but how CC and your philosophies fit together, so CorporateConnections and your philosophies fit together to really bridge those new opportunities across the world, and how that ties in a little bit to what you say in your book.
So, Robert, it is very critically important that we need to build our network of trust. And a network of trust is basically filtered by the organization who enrolls you as a member in the network by doing due diligence. Like, I'm fortunate to be a part of CorporateConnections, which is one of the most respected and well-networked organizations in the world. So tonight, if I want to reach out to some entrepreneur in Japan, in Mexico, in Argentina, or in Montreal, in Canada, for me, I have to just browse through the memberships of CorporateConnections. And the reason that you are from a CorporateConnections chapter of Mumbai or any other part of the country establishes the first level of trust. And then you can always start from a conversation. But when you're a part of an ecosystem like CorporateConnections, you're there 50%. The rest of the 50% will depend on how you converse with the other counterpart and take it forward. So nobody in this world should sustain and survive in isolation. You need to build your strength by being a part of some organization which will help you to a very valuable network so that you can be validated and you can grow with taking the right decisions. So I feel this is a part of every entrepreneur's life. Every human being should be a part of some organization, because organizational strength can never be bought. You have to be a part of it, and you need to be a valuable contributing part of that ecosystem. So for me, it might be CorporateConnections. For somebody else, it might be something else. But we need to be actively involved with organizations which are a part of a strong ecosystem, because these kind of organizations build new relationships at a massive pace. You don't have to know them for the last 20 years. You might know them just because they are a part of CorporateConnections. But then the speed is so good that you start from 50 rather than starting from 0.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, Franklin Covey talks about the speed of trust. And of course, that's the objective of what we're talking about here. And I'm a big believer that, as much as steel is forged in fire, leaders are created in crisis. And I think everything that you're sharing in this book, and it was fun to read because it really showed me the kind of leader that you are. And how your philosophies apply to everyday life, and again, your personal, but as well as business. And I think it's something that we all need. And you mentioned before, sometimes we need that self-reflection. And reading this book, that's what it did for me. It really allowed me to reflect a little bit on my own values, on what I'm trying to achieve through CorporateConnections and with the members of CorporateConnections, and really what I want to achieve in the rest of my career, and how I look at every opportunity in front of me. I know we only have a couple of minutes left. Maybe I can open it up to you to wrap things up by talking a little bit about what you'd like us to take away from the book, and really take away from this conversation today. By the way, folks, we could talk for 6 hours. You read this book. We've touched on sort of 2 or 3 themes, and of course, the title says it all: 50 New Life Mantras. So I really encourage you guys, of course, to go read it. I think you're going to walk away from reading that book. It's going to solidify some of what you believe. It's also going to open your eyes and make you think about things a little bit differently. And if you do not walk away feeling positive, encouraged, and looking forward towards opportunity, please give me a call, because I'd like to know how that's possible. I came out of that book, reading the book, supercharged and excited for the future. So with that in mind, I want to let you wrap it up. And I know we're going to bring someone else on to help end the call today.
Thank you, Robert. This is really a great moment for me, getting the book launched at your hands for the global launch. The mission and vision behind this book is a very strong purpose to change mindsets, to bring new ideas into people's minds. So whatever I've written is something you must have read somewhere or the other in bits and pieces. I've collected it together through my experiences in what I do. I'm basically the chairman for St. Angelo's VNCT Ventures. We are one of the largest villa developers in India. We do it very passionately, where my purpose is to create a value creation multiplying product for my customers. And that's what I strongly believe in. The objective of this book is to make ourselves better leaders at the end of the book. The objective of this book is getting prepared for the new world order, so that collectively we can collaborate together, support each other's thoughts, actions, business models, customers, strategies, markets, and move forward together. The objective is also to inform people that you need to be a part of some organization or the other, like how I'm a very proud part of the Bombay president, the Mumbai chapter of CorporateConnections president. So you need to be a part of organizations like CorporateConnections. It will do a lot of good to you, your mindset, your growth of the business, and new relationships and new ecosystems and new borders that you can just cross by just being a part of the system. So that is the purpose that I wrote this book with, and I'm so happy with the outcome. Ruber, for your information, 100% of the proceeds of this book are being donated to a fund called International Development and Welfare Foundation for the economic good of the society. So the book is going to be sold for that particular purpose and that particular cause. And I take great pride that I got the opportunity from Almighty God to pen down this book, which is definitely going to be an eye-opener for many. I'm getting some great reviews from the people who have read it. There are people expressing it on the social media, and it gives me great pleasure and satisfaction whenever I come across a comment or a compliment about the book and what is a takeaway from the book. So thank you so much, Ruber. And I would now like to request our very dear friend, Veda Bestine, to come and do the vote of thanks for this lovely program. Before I conclude on my part, I would like to thank each and every friend of ours who's present online and witnessing by investing their valuable time, attention, and focus on this book launch. So I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and thanks a ton for being a part of my every journey that I undertake. My strength is my network, and you are my network. Thank you so much, everybody who's present online, and I'm really grateful to you, and I'm with you always, absolutely unconditionally. Thank you, each one of you, and for all the lovely comments that you people are putting up. Thank you so much. Over to you, Veda.
Wow, what a impactful and powerful conversation it has been. Immense thanks to Robert Gervais, our CorporateConnections Global President, for this amazing launch on this impactful book, which is so relevant, adding so much value to our professional life, personal life, as well as family life. Time is of the essence for all the businesses striving to combat the immediate impact of COVID-19, while also laying the foundation for a very strong future. Achieving growth and performance consistently and confidently is definitely not easy. In building businesses that are truly fit for the future, leaders face accelerating changes in technology, consumer expectations, and the society itself. The pressure is on to shape the strategy and restructure the organizations to deliver better, lasting results for all the stakeholders. Now, more than ever, it is needed to come together, to learn, to unlearn, to share, to partner, to collaborate, as well as to co-create. Rajesh, the initiative what you have taken up has summed up all these things and much, much more in this amazing book. I'm sure all of you know where to find it. It's Amazon Kindle. Thank you, Nitin Manot, the Executive Director of CorporateConnections Mumbai, for the brilliant beginning of this live event today. CC Mumbai is doing amazingly very well with, and it is very strong with 17 established entrepreneurs creating extraordinary experiences. Robert, knowing you, you are a people's person with your large international network, altruistic in nature, India being so close to your heart. Who better than you to launch this global book? You're a visionary leader, motivating, creating more and more leaders. It is so fascinating to see the worldwide impact of CorporateConnections that you have done in such a short span of time. I'm sure Graham is super impressed with your skills to build extraordinary teams, surpassing expectations even during this pandemic. You know, I still remember our 3-day trip almost 2 years before, hopping from one city to another city, launching CorporateConnections in India. It was super fantastic. You know, you're so passionate and driven to help leaders across the globe to get connected. And this is really, really infectious. And we are so looking forward to host you again in India. Rajesh, as we all know, you are the Charter President of CC Mumbai Chapter. With your enthusiasm, dynamic personality, and incurable positive energy, you have made meaningful relationships in the CC community in such a short span of time. Many congratulations to you, Rajesh. With your leadership, with your committed passion towards serial entrepreneurship, your new journey in terms of being an author is so inspiring, and it has definitely moved a lot of people. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, for being live on this amazing event. And I really would like to extend my gratitude and my thanks to all our friends, all our associates, all our CC community for being live and supporting this event. Thank you so very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Veda. Thank you so much, Ruber. And have a God-blessed evening, and have a absolutely God-blessed future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.